2022 was a fantastic year for drone releases. DJI have just smashed the competition. You now have more choice, fantastic for consumers. So in 2023, which DJI drone should you go out and buy? So for beginners, there's that much choice now. It can be really daunting about which drone should you go out and get. So before we get into the actual main part of the video, you want to just ask yourself a few questions. Firstly, budget. That's going to play a huge part of your choice about which drone to go out and get. Do you want to go for the more cinematic drones like the Mini Series, or do you want to go like FPV like the DJI Avata or the DJI FPV drone? And then also, where do you want to go out and fly? Where do you intend to use your drone? Is it just going to be casual use on a Sunday? Or do you like traveling a lot and you're going to be using your drone in many different areas and different countries? Those are some key questions you need to ask yourself. And then think of those, get to an answer, and then I'm going to go through the advantages and cons of each one of these drones. In this video, I'm just going to discuss the DJI drones, but I really highly recommend you just go with one of the three leading manufacturers, DJI, Autel or Skydio. Now, Skydio have been around for ages. They make some decent drones. They brought out the Nano series, and this had a promising start. But unfortunately, it just didn't live up to the expectations for me personally. I don't really recommend it to you guys. And Skydio, they make really good tracking drones. So for active track, they're like the kind of like the leaders in there. Their tracking capabilities look fantastic. But I personally haven't tested it or flown a Skydio drone. They're not available in the UK or Europe for some strange reason. So I can't really comment on it. So I'm not. So I'm just going to keep to the actual DJI drones. These are drones I've been flying for about 10 years now. I think they're the best way you can go for picking up a drone as a beginner. They are the easiest to fly with, they're easiest to learn, you've got really good safety features on them. So this is what I'm going to be sticking with. So in last year we saw some really good releases. We saw the DJI Avata, which is like a new FPV drone. We saw the DJI Mavic 3 Classic, which is a classic or a cheaper version of the DJI Mavic 3. And then we saw two releases from DJI in the Mini Series. So we saw the DJI Mini 3 Pro and the DJI Mini 3. Fantastic. So which should you go out and get? So the first question you need to ask yourself, do you want to go the cinematic route or the FPV route? So a cinematic drone like the DJI Mini 3 Pro or an FPV drone like the DJI FPV, two completely different flying experiences. So the FPV style is going to be this immersive experience you're going to get. You're going to have goggles on and you're going to have full control over that drone. Now, FPV has been around for ages and it's getting really popular now. Different manufacturers make FPV drones, like custom builds are really good, but I do argue that the DJI FPV drones, like the DJI FPV and the DJI Avata, are the easiest to learn FPV flying. FPV flying is not easy, but they have a built-in simulator and you can learn on these because they've got safety features on them. So if something goes wrong, you've got like a pause button so it'll stop instantly. The drone will come back to you if you lose signal. And then you can, once you've mastered all the actual tutorial side of it, so the simulator, you can unlock manual mode. So then you can do rolls, you can do flips, you can do so much more with FPV drones than you can with, say, a cinematic drone, which is basically more of a steady flight, cinematic footage, nothing too crazy. So that's the main difference between a cinematic drone and an FPV drone. And I would say if you're a complete beginner, flying like a cinematic drone like the DJI Mini 3 Pro is going to be a lot easier to pick up and learn than starting on the course of flying an FPV drone. So most people who get into FPV have already flown a normal cinematic drone to start with. However, none of these are a bad route to go down. It's just about your choice. Do you want cinematic or FPV? If you want FPV, DJI have just released the DJI Avata in 2022. Now this is a fantastic FPV drone because it's a lot smaller than the original DJI FPV. So for travel, this is really good. This has built-in prop guards, so the propellers aren't exposed, whereas on the DJI FPV, they are. So if you actually crash this or you hit something, which in FPV you probably will, it's going to withstand a lot more. The propellers aren't going to get shattered just as much as the DJI FPV. However, as you can see, this is a lot larger, so this is a lot more stronger. It's better in the wind. This is really powerful. However, the DJI Avata, I would say, is the winner out of these two because it's easier to take with you. The camera on it is better. And overall, you can fly these in more places through more gaps. So I do prefer the DJI Avata. So if you want an FPV drone, this is a really good choice. So one of those questions I asked you is about where do you intend on flying? So if you're just a casual flyer, you don't want to travel a lot with your drone and you just want the drone as kind of like the cheapest entry into getting one of these DJI drones, but you want the latest technology, then I would say go for one of the DJI Mini Series. So you've got the DJI Mini 3 and the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So this is about £200 less than the Pro version. So this is £669. And the Mini 3 Pro is £859. Now that includes the DJI RC controller, which we'll talk about in a second. But these mean that you're going to be under 250 grams, so you can fly these in majority of countries restriction free because of that weight. So you might have to register, you might have to get like a flyer ID, it costs about £10 in the UK, and then you can fly at cities, beaches, over small groups of people. This is going to be a lot more opportunity to fly this in more places because of its size. It's really easy to travel with, it's nice and lightweight, it's not a hassle in any way. What about the difference? Which one should you get? Well, I personally think the £200 extra for the Mini 3 Pro is worth it 100%. You do get a lot more features on this. So what do you get on the Mini 3? So you're going to get 4K HDR video, which is really good quality. It shoots in both horizontal and vertical in both photos and video. So you can shoot for, say, Reels, TikToks on this. You don't have to do any cropping, just automatically shoots in vertical for you. You have quick shots on here. These are really good to do. You just drag a box around you and the drone will fly around you and record yourself. It is a really good beginner drone. I think it's the best way and it's the cheapest way of getting one of these DJI drones with awesome quality. If things go wrong, all of them do the same. You know, this is return to home, so it will come back to your location if, you know, it loses signal. Other drones or the drone manufacturers don't do that. So it's a huge advantage to the DJI drones for sure. So yeah, the Mini 3 is ace. But on the Mini 3 Pro, you're going to get extra things for that £200 more. You're going to get obstacle avoidance sensors. So this will detect objects in front of it or behind it, and it will swerve or brake and avoid them. I mean, that alone is worth that difference, I think. It also has active track and focus track. So you can drag a box around you or a car or anything that's moving, and the drone will track it for you automatically or track you. I mean, that again is fantastic. But you have hyperlapse, master shots. This is fantastic, worth that extra £200. And the Mini 3 Pro is the drone that I have used the most in 2022. It is really good. So for mini drones, you can't go wrong with either of these two. And then we saw the DJI RC. So the prices that I quoted before, that is with the DJI RC. So I'm going to recommend this 100% in 2023. The DJI N1 controller, that was the older controller. You had to use your phone to connect to that. This is so much better. So you can see you've got a built-in screen. This connects to the Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro, and the Mavic Series instantly. All you need to do is switch it on like I've done now, and within about 20-30 seconds, you're ready to fly. You just connect your drone to it and off you go. It's really nice and lightweight. The screen's good. It's bright enough in a really bright daylight sun. It's fantastic. I can't say enough good things about this. And what I do like is that it's nice and lightweight. So for traveling around, it's a perfect match with the Mini Series as well. And then we have the Mavic Series. So a question I asked you before as well was, do you intend on taking your drone with you, like different places, different traveling opportunities? Do you like going to different countries around the world? In which case, the Mavic 3 Classic would be an awesome choice for you and an advantage over that Mini Series, mainly because of its size. So don't let that size of it put you off. You know, once it's in a bag, you can't really tell the difference at all. So this folds out, obviously, to be a lot larger than the Mini Series, but this has huge advantages that this is so strong and powerful when flying this drone in windy conditions. And this is where the Mini Series will suffer a lot because the actual drone propellers and the arms are much smaller, and it does suffer in strong winds. It will get blown around a lot. So in different countries around the world where they are naturally really windy, this is going to be a pretty bad choice to take with you. Whereas this is just an absolute tank in the air. It's a monster. It also has the best camera out of any of the DJI drones. So it's 5.1K, it's a micro four thirds sensor. The quality is awesome. Now we've seen the Mavic 3 Classic, which is the newer version of the Mavic 3. You don't have a tele or a zoom lens on it anymore, but you have every other feature built in. So 46 minutes of battery life, 5K quality. You've got the best possible tracking on here, so you can drag a box around you and position it wherever you want on a clock face and it will just follow you. The return to home is really good. It's just fantastic. This is like the best of the best at a price. And this also works with the DJI RC controller. That would be the package that I recommend. And this is £1,529. So for this, it's obviously the most expensive, but it is the best of the best that DJI offer currently. And I would say out of this and the Mavic 3, that Mavic 3 I'm not going to talk about today because although I think that drone's fantastic, it is more expensive and you're basically paying for the tele lens, which is something that I personally just don't really use a lot. I don't think it's worth that extra. I think this is a fantastic drone. So these two are my favorite drones, the Mini 3 Pro and the Mavic 3 Classic. I would recommend 100% these. Now the Mavic 3 Classic, depending on the country you're going to be in, because of its weight, you're going to then have some restrictions in place. So you might need to do a qualification to fly this. So in the UK, you would need to get the A2 CFC course. This costs about £80. You can do it online in about 24 hours, 48 hours, and then you get this course, and then you can fly this with a 50-meter separation distance to like buildings, other people. So it's a lot better than flying it in the middle of the countryside all the time. So you can fly this in the places you want. You just need to get that course. In Europe, this has a C1 label on it, so that's absolutely fantastic. So you can fly this in the same places as the Mini 3, the smaller versions. You just can't fly over people. And then different countries around the world, it's going to be dependent on your countries about the restrictions. But overall, if you can fly this in your country, I would highly recommend it. And is it worth the extra? If you're traveling a lot and you want the best quality, but you want a drone to be able to handle strong wind conditions, yes, this is absolutely fantastic. If you're not, and you just want a drone that's going to perform really well, still fantastic 4K quality, you don't travel to a lot of windy places, Mini 3 Pro. So it's one of these two. These are the drones that I would recommend for the cinematic drones. So these three drones, none of these are cheap, but they are the best possible quality. You've got the best of the best in the small category, the Mini 3 Pro. The best in the larger category, I think at the moment, is the Mavic 3 Classic. And then the FPV drones, for a small travel-friendly FPV drone like this, you've got the DJI Varta. Awesome choices, the best possible ones you can get. Ones you might find on Amazon which say they're like 4K or 8K drones and they're like under £200. Pretty much they all are terrible, so the quality's not very good, they're not easy to fly. So these three drones are not cheap in any way. Budget's going to be dependent on this, but I would save longer, or I would sell more things to get one of these drones. These will last you so many years. You don't have to upgrade these. We get more features every year or every couple of years for sure. But you could get like a Mini 3 Pro and fly this for about 5 years as minimum and still have fantastic quality. Be able to put out on YouTube, put out for your family videos, and no one will tell. This is what's great about flying a drone. They make really good opportunities to make memories as well, or document your travel as well. So if you're going to different places, you love traveling, then rather than just having ground footage on your phone or your camera, you can have aerial footage as well. And I think this drone hobby is awesome. Now it is addictive as well. So you might find you might get one of the smaller drones and then you'd be itching to then have a go at FPV, and then you'll want one of the bigger drones as well. So don't come and blame me if you get addicted to flying drones, but I hope this guide helps you. Let me know in the comments down below, which drone would you go out and pick? Mini 3, DJI Varta, Mavic 3 Classic. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, if you're new around here, like and subscribe. That'd be really nice. Bye bye.